Well, hey guys, welcome back. Today we're back on the Pit Boss, and today we're making a pulled pork sandwich, Southern style, but something went wrong with our meat that we got sent, and we're gonna learn a little bit something about cuts of pork. Here we go. Let's check it out. So how about story time for just a minute? We ordered our meat this past week from Instacart. Now, no knock on the Instacart person who helped us out and different things like that. I want to put that on the front end. It's not their fault. They maybe just don't know their cuts of meat. And so we ordered a Boston butt, and that's what we asked for on Instacart. We even went back and checked, and that's what we asked for. But the particular individual that picked up our order brought us a picnic shoulder. And so the difference between a Boston butt and a picnic shoulder is where that cut of meat comes from. Well, in fact, hold on, I'm gonna show you. Come with me, come on. Welcome to pig anatomy, or just cuts on the pig. So, Boston butt is what we typically use for pulled pork. Now, though it says butt, it's a part of the shoulder, right? Now, the butt of the pig is called the ham. That's where you get your Christmas hams, your large hams like that. The Boston butt is actually, again, part of the shoulder, but there's a difference in the picnic shoulder and the Boston butt. What you're gonna see in the difference is that this is actually lower on the leg, right? Therefore, you're gonna have a shank-like bone in the middle of that picnic shoulder, whereas the Boston butt is the shoulder blade is the bone that you're kind of seeing when you pull and have that meat. Boston butt is ideally what we want. Picnic shoulder is what we received. Therefore, that's what we're going to use and cook it like we would this one. Lesson complete. So, with that explanation in play, now here's the deal. We're going to cook this just like we would a Boston butt. We're going to see what happens, and we're going to create our sandwich in the same way. Again, lemonade out of lemons. So, we're going to give it a go, see what happens. Hope you enjoy. Something you're going to notice on this picnic shoulder when you pull it out is that there's actually skin on there. Yes, pig skin. So I flip it over to the non-pig side. I'm going to be pretty aggressive on this thing and try to get down to as much meat as possible. So there's this little piece that kind of wraps around. This is, again, skin and a little bit of fat there. And so I'm going to carve that back all the way to the meat. Pretty aggressive, again, on these cuts because it is thick. And then once we flip it over and get it to the skin side, we're going to slide that knife under there. Wish I had a little bit sharper knife, honestly. But this is also pretty tough skin. So we're going to get the skin off there first. I've also seen people leave the skin on and just pack that thing with butter, which might be an idea, but I didn't try that this time. And so again, we're going to get pretty aggressive with this, cutting it back. There, I got a little bit of the meat, yes, but we're going to keep going and try to get as much of this off of there as possible. As we continue around the top here, we're gonna just continue to dive in and get as close to that meat as possible so we can get as much seasoning. All right, so this is a little bit later. All of that skin has now been removed, but there's still some fat there. And so we're just gonna kind of work through that and just do small slices to get down to where we want to land. Also, there's a big chunk of fat here that we took off as well. And this is where that bone shank comes out. And so carving around that, honestly, is a little bit difficult. But if you just kind of take your time, I'll put the full trimming video on my YouTube page as well. Put a card up here in the left-hand corner that you can grab if you want to see that whole 10-minute debacle. But again, kind of going over the top, getting into these loose things as we finish up. And then we're ready now to season up. I did this the night before, and we'll bring it out in the morning to get it seasoned. All right, we got this trimmed up, cleaned up last night, and now we're gonna hit it with some Blues Hog sweet and savory, and we're gonna cover this thing as thoroughly as we can. So we're actually gonna use mayo as a binder today. Now we're gonna let this bad boy sweat out for about 10 to 15 minutes before we pop it on. If you've been around, you've heard me talk about the Drip Easy tray. Amazing to be able to season your meat, haul your meat out, dump it in. All right, so here's the thing. Our seasoning has bled through. It's been sitting about 15 minutes. Our Pit Boss is up to 250. We're ready to roll. So we're gonna drop her on there. Doesn't she look beautiful sitting in there? Look at that. Woo, she's gorgeous. And it is cold out here. We're gonna let her sit for 3 hours. We'll come back and check her out. I got stuff all over my face. All right, so this bad boy's been rolling about 3 hours, and look at this beauty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just shoot a little bit of apple cider vinegar on this bad boy. It's again been going about 2 hours or so, 2.5, just to keep it nice and moist. Apple cider vinegar is the trick. So we're gonna hit that. And man, it is cold out here, but I'm super proud of the Pit Boss, what it's been holding up and how it's been doing. I mean, every time I've come out here, it's been right on the money. We're eating a little bit more pellets than we normally do, but she's keeping temp, and so these pellet grills, man, that's the joy. I've been gone, I've come back, like left the house even, came back, and now just gonna squirt it real quick and then head back out to my next appointment. But she's still cooking beautifully and is about ready to go. All right, so we're back out here checking it out, and my Pit Boss reading is sitting at 150-ish. And so when I put my Thermopin in, we're getting 150 or 162. If we come over here on the side, we're getting about 150 or so. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this, because on the back side here, we're getting like 176. So again, in the variations of where the meat is, this one says 153. So we're gonna use those readings to kind of determine, hey, it's okay to take this bad boy in and begin the foil part of the cook. And so from there, we're gonna load it off into a foil tin, just like this. And then we're gonna haul it inside and we're gonna doll this bad boy up. By the way, when I take my Thermopin and push it into the meat, I'm getting very little resistance already. Okay, so what I'm shot at is, like, that's just going right in there. Nothing getting in the way of it. Super soft. And it's already smelling delicious, by the way, too. So, we're gonna haul it inside, doll it all up. This is the fun part. All right, so we're now inside. We've got our, I mean, I wish I had smell-o-vision. Because this thing smells delicious. So to make this a Southern style, what we're gonna do, I'm an Arkansas boy, right? So we have our Southern style, but also there's the Carolinas that kind of do their thing as well. And so that's what we're gonna do today. And so we're gonna use more of kind of a vinegar-based sauce, okay? So Blues Hog has this one called Tennessee Red. It's vinegar-based, it's kind of based on Southern flavors. And so that's the one we're gonna be using today. But here in our tin, there's a couple things that we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna hit it with a little more seasoning, just on top, just to kind of add a little more flair there. Then we're gonna cover that bad boy with our Blues Hog sauce. And then we're also gonna throw some butter on top. So this has been sitting out for about an hour. It's super soft. And then we're gonna kind of cut that into pads and place that around and on top as well. Then we're gonna put some apple cider vinegar around the bottom in the pan. And so all of that is gonna be wrapped with foil, and it is gonna be delicious. So here we go. All right, so where we're gonna start is with our apple cider vinegar. We're just gonna shoot a couple shots on top here. Okay, trying not to cover everything here. Okay. Then from there, we're gonna take a little bit more of our Blues Hog sweet and savory and open that up. Just kind of sprinkle a little more on top here. I don't like to do super heavy, but enough, okay? If that makes sense. Then we're gonna hit it with our Blues Hog Tennessee Red. Shake this up real good. It's again a vinegar-based sauce, so it's gonna be a little bit more runny. Just gonna cover this bad boy with that. Also, the old saying, too much is never enough, right? That cascade down the sides. Then we're going to take a little bit of butter. Again, butter is our barbecuing best friend. Again, this is kind of softened butter. We're just going to kind of put it around like this. Trick is if you got like a slope and your butter's not really going to stick there, you just stab a toothpick in it and then that butter will melt away. Kind of unique, kind of fun. Kind of like that right there. See how that guy's sliding away already? I'm just going to stab it in there and let that bad boy. Forget about the toothpicks because they don't taste good. Alright, final thing is we're going to pour some apple cider vinegar in our pan here, just around. Just like that. And we're going from there. We're going to wrap this in foil. Back to smoke. There we go. So we're still currently running at 250. We're just going to take our foiled pulled pork, slide it right in. I like to kind of rotate it and make sure I've got it maybe just a little bit different direction than I had. And then we're going to put our probe right through the foil into the meat. And that's how we're going to kind of monitor. We're going to come back in about an hour and a half or two. Just kind of check on it with our thermopin and see where we're at. If our probe is reading pretty well, then we may just leave it, just open, check, and go away. All right, well, this cook has been going for about 8.5 hours. Our probe on the Pit Boss is saying that we're at 204, 205, and so we are going to check in with our thermopin and see what that looks like for us. And then if it's at around 205, 206, we're pulling that bad boy off. Going to let it sit for a little bit, and then we're going to pull it because it's pulled pork. Here's where we are. You can see here I probed a little bit earlier, which is letting a little bit of the steam out, which I think is kind of fun. Then from there we're going to take our probe and look at this. This thing just goes in, no resistance whatsoever. We're at 205 on that, and then we go in here, nothing. 207, 208, and then kind of stabbing back here. Oh, I can just, I mean, there is nothing that it is tapping on 207. This thing is ready. Look at there, 207 on that one as well. So this is coming off, and we are going to take her inside. All right, well, while we're waiting on our pulled pork, we're gonna make some coleslaw because, again, this is Southern style, and so we're gonna pile some coleslaw on. Carolinas are famous for this, and so this is, my wife does not like this, but I surely do. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna open up just a bag of coleslaw, pre-mixed, pre-made. It's a lot easier if you wanna go to the trouble of chopping up all the things, you be my guest. I'm going for easy and delicious. So, pouring that in here. Then from there, we're going with 2 tablespoons of the same mayo we used for our rub. 2 tablespoons just seems to be a good amount. amount. It might take a little more using that whole bag. So I'm actually going to put 4 tablespoons of mayo there for my friend. Then, back to our Tennessee Red. We're going to use about 1/3 cup of this. Again, vinegar-based Southern style sauce. We need more here in a moment. We'll do it. We're going to take a little bit of that same sweet and savory seasoning, just enough to go over the top, and we'll mix it. Okay, so as you can tell, it's kind of getting a brownish tint to it, and just enough mayo to give a little zing, but also stay kind of Carolina flavored. We'll give it a taste. That's good on its own. Yeah, it's gonna be even better in a minute. All right, here we go. Open this bad boy up. Oh, look at that beauty. Been sitting for about 30 minutes. And of course, don't forget our butter toothpicks. We need to pull those out so we don't eat them. And now, we're going to start. So notice right here, the bone that we are pulling out is more shank-like. It's not more of the flat blade type bone like you'll see in a Boston butt. That's one of the differences of the picnic shoulder than the Boston butt. Therefore, it's gonna be a different bone that you're gonna pull out of there. Also different places that you're pulling good meat from. But you see that it's just falling apart. It's in great condition. Really pleased with how this came out, but also notice how stringy this meat is as compared to what you would normally get in a Boston butt.
That's good. That's good.